Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Zhaffira Aliyah Afifa. I am from 5 with the class. And today I would like to do a presentation about multistage sampling. So let me start our presentation today. Before we go further about multistage sampling, I would like to explain more about what is sampling. Sampling is the process of selecting a sufficient number of the elements from the population so that by studying the sample and understanding the properties or the characteristics would make it possible for us to generalize such properties or characteristics for the population's elements, stated by Sekaran in 2003. In doing a research, sampling has several functions. First is save on research costs. Second is save time for research. Third is can produce more accurate data. And fourth is expanding the scope of research. In sampling method, there are several types of sampling method. First is probability sampling, and the second is non-probability sampling. In probability sampling, there are also several types of probability sampling. First is simple random sampling. Second is sample random sampling. Third is systematic sampling. Fourth is stratified sampling. Fifth is cluster sampling. And sixth is multistage sampling. Meanwhile, in non-probability sampling, there are also several types of non-probability sampling. First is purposive sampling. Second is quota sampling. Third is novel sampling. And fourth is convenience sampling. So, in my presentation, I would like to explain more about multistage sampling. First, we go to definition. Multistage sampling is a special case of cluster sampling, where in the second stage we do not select all elements from the cluster, but some elements are selected by random, stated by Barreiro et al. In 2001. In using multistage sampling, there are also several terms that we might consider. First is the population is quite homogeneous. Second is the population is very large. Second is the population occupies a very large area. And the fourth is unavailability of a sample frame containing the smallest units or ultimate sampling units. And in multistage sampling, it has several characteristics. First is does not require a complete list of members in the target population, which reduces sample preparation costs. Second is can involve more than one method or combined sampling method. Third is uses a hierarchy of sampling units or groups. In considering what sampling we might use, there are also the disadvantages and the advantages of using one of the sampling. The drawbacks of multistage random sampling, according to Nasution in 2003, include: first is the estimation produced is difficult. It is because in multistage sampling, there are several stages that we might consider. Second is the sampling decisions produced requires more careful planning, because in multistage sampling there are some stages we must do and plan this more careful so that it avoid the error in doing research. And third is testing is more difficult because multistage sampling has several stages, so that in testing it might be difficult. And the advantages of multistage random sampling, according to Eco in 2002, include: first is relatively small variance for the cost per unit. Second is better control of sampling error. Third is research requires a relatively small cost. And fourth is can use different methods at each stages. And fourth is control of research coverage is easier. And the sixth is the sample members taken are more representative. In multistage sampling, there are also the procedure. The population is divided into subpopulations. First is list the subpopulation, then select the subpopulations at random sample, and next is subpopulation is further divided into subpopulations. Then compose a list of subpopulation from the selected subpopulation, then select the subpopulation by simple random. And last is all members in the selected subpopulations are selected random samples. This sampling is two-stage sampling because sampling is carried out in 2 stages. If the stage is carried out in 3 stages, it is called a 3-stage sampling. And according to Fabric in 2015, the step of using multistage random sampling can be carried out in homogeneous collections. Furthermore, Fabric in 2015 described the steps as follows. First is determine the population. Next is set the level. Then calculate the sample size, and third, randomly take a number of elements at each level, and the last is, at the last stage, take sample randomly according to the size of the sample. In here, there are also the steps for implementing multistage sampling. For example, the research was carried out in seroborne pregnancy. Then the steps can be described as follows. First process, select J subdistrict from the J subdistrict in district A. Second process, in the selected J kecamatan or A kelurahan or village from the K kelurahan or village that is in the selected kecamatan is selected. Next, in the selected kelurahan or village, one primary school is selected from L of the primary schools in the kelurahan or village. Next is in selected all schools, M class is selected from the existing M classes. And the last process, in the selected M class, all students in the selected class are selected. Okay, I think that's all for my presentation about multistage sampling. I hope my presentation will add more knowledge to the readers, to the listeners or the viewers. So I ended it with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oh, and then before that, I would like to say sorry if during my presentation I did some mistakes, direct or indirectly. I ended with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.